Hey guys, welcome back to Lexio. I am your host, Sean Hiller, and today we are doing something a little bit different. Several weeks ago, a coworker of mine sent me this video, and we were kind of laughing and joking about it because it was a video from Viva La Dirt League, who wrote or shot the video that we're about to look at in a second. And it was essentially a video about how to deal with a customer who comes in, the customer's, kind of acting crazy, and it was absolutely hilarious how they handled it. But because I watched that video, other videos have started popping up on my feed from Viva La Dirt League. And this one came up, and I clicked on it. I wanted to check it out. And it's called Afterlife Decision. Now, for those of you who don't know, Viva La Dirt League, it's just, it's a small little channel. They only have 7.23 million subscribers. And this video itself, I looked at some of their other stuff. This video hasn't done great compared to their other videos. But this video has 534,000 views. So people are watching their stuff for sure. But something that intrigued me about this video in particular, most of their stuff has to do with like gaming and parodies of gaming. I've only watched a few of their videos, so I'm not an expert on all of their stuff, but that's kind of the gist I'm picking up. But this video is essentially about the afterlife. This video, they're parodying essentially, if you're a character in a game and you've died, you typically, I guess in a game you respawn, but this character actually went to the afterlife and they can choose whether they want to respawn or not. But it's a rather sad video, and it deals with, I think, what the average person who doesn't know God is thinking. If you don't know God, what happens after death? And they kind of make this play on reincarnation almost, but it's a somber, it's a sad video. And I just wonder if the people who, when they watched this, one of those 534,000 views they had, if they watched it and thought, what is this thing in the afterlife? What happens after I die? And I just thought it'd be interesting to check out and see, man, why would they make a video like this if not to think about the afterlife? And I hope that was their intent with this. It's interesting video, and see what you think.
Hello?
Hey.
What is this? What's happening?
I don't really know myself, to be honest.
Oh my God.
What happened to you?
I was out on a hike with my wife. We were walking along a cliffside and I wanted to look over the edge. And I slipped.
Oof.
Am I dead?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh. Holy shit. Wait. Who are you then?
Britt,
Ben.
nice to meet you.
You too. So, are you?
Am I dead?
Yeah.
Yeah. Big time. Yeah, I was getting out of the shower and I slipped. I guess I hit my head or something, I don't really remember.
Oh.
Yeah. Yours is much more majestic.
Have you been here long?
A while, yeah. It's kind of hard to tell time in here.
Right. And what do the buttons do?
Well, there's respawn and quit.
What happens when you quit?
I don't know.
Respawn?
Well, I guess you just sort of respawn.
Like, you start over?
Yep.
What are you gonna do?
I think I'm gonna respawn. Quit seems, like terrifying, and then to respawn seems maybe less so. But if I'm being honest, I wasn't really having the best time being alive, so I'm not really dying to get back or anything.
Dying. Well, maybe it's not like a straight respawn. You know, maybe this is like reincarnation.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's like you just start again. Or maybe it's like you go back to a certain part in your life and that's what deja vu actually is. Or maybe you just get to be a baby again. Or a panda.
Have you tried like looking around?
Yeah, it goes on forever. This is always just kind of here.
Right.
I think I'm gonna respawn.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, good luck.
Thanks.
Oh. Okay. Oh. Wow. So.
Okay, you get the gist. Lots of bad language in there, but how sad is that, guys? How sad is that? This is the state of the world. This is the state of the world we live in. And for them to make it, maybe they set that whole thing up just to make the worm joke at the end and make a spoof on reincarnation. But y'all, how many people that's what they think. How many people think, okay, they're scared to death to die. We have this phrase that we love to use. I talked about this in other videos, but Memento Mori, remember thy death. As Christians, we are always called to know that death is coming, to look toward our death, and to be prepared for death. Christ himself tells us, do not be caught without oil in the lamp when the bridegroom returns. We are supposed to be prepared, and death is still a terrifying thing for many people. I know several people, my wife in particular, who when they were little kids, they had this fear of death, this fear in particular that people close to them would die. And those were things that she had to deal with, that people have to deal with. But death is this huge looming thing for all of us. It's something that we're all guaranteed. And majority of the world is terrified of it because they don't know what happens next. And you can see the sadness of this video. The two main characters are sitting there and they're thinking through what is going to happen if I simply quit. And the sadness of the girl saying, I wasn't really happy with my life that I was living. That's incredibly sad. And I do want to touch on the fact that everyone thinks this is a terrible Christian pitch, but everyone thinks that you become a Christian and you're just happy all the time. Everything's just honky-dory. And that is not reality whatsoever. In fact, we're told the opposite. Christ tells us that if you follow him, that you're going to suffer. And it's part of that suffering that prepares us for the afterlife, that prepares us for judgment. Jeff Cavins wrote a book called When We Suffer, and I highly recommend it to any capacity. It's one of the best books I've ever read on the concept of suffering, because it was something that was rather foreign to me. Is what is the purpose of suffering? I know I've understand the concept of the problem of pain, as C.S. Lewis put it, and how we deal with pain as Christians, but what do we make of our suffering as Christians? And it's just a beautiful book that he wrote on how to unite your suffering to the cross and to Jesus Christ and offer up your suffering for the church and for those around you, as Paul says in Colossians 1:24, I believe, when he says, I rejoice in my suffering, because he's able to offer up that suffering for the church. And that's the point of our suffering. But if you don't know God, if you don't know Jesus Christ, then you can't make a point for anything. It's hard to really find meaning in anything that you do. And I think that's an incredibly sad thing. There's a difference between suffering and sadness. If your suffering is meaningless, then that is the definition of sadness. But if your suffering has meaning to it, and that meaning is important enough, that meaning has an eternal focus to it, then you can actually rejoice in your suffering. And that's the whole picture of the atonement that we're given with Jesus Christ on the cross. That's why he was able to rejoice in his suffering, because he knew the joy that was to come for us, for Christ, our bridegroom, coming, suffering tremendously, dying, so that he could bring us to him. That is suffering that you can actually find joy in. And for as lost as these two people seem, and just this video was so sad when I watched it, like, man, as Christians, we can rejoice in our lives, even if we're suffering, even if they're not the most fun lives to live. In fact, some of the greatest saints to ever walk this planet, who lived their lives for God, lived very, very, very suffering lives. They lived what we would categorize as terrible lives, but they did it for the joy that was to come. So I just wanted to go over this video because I found this incredibly fascinating, that this comedy parody YouTube channel would make a video like this. 530,000 people have watched it, and I hope that the people who watched it who don't know Jesus Christ, I hope it made them think, like, what is next? What is the afterlife? How do I prepare for the afterlife? How do I prepare for my death? It's a question we all should ask. Yeah. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I think let's pray for the people who watch this, and let's hope that the secular world continues to put content like this out there to make people wonder what's next. Guys, we'll see you next time on Lexio. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. We'll catch you later. God bless.